Electrocast. Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Welcome in. Welcome in. It's missing the point, but more importantly, it's the final football show of the year. Bobby, it's just me and you.
Sad, man.
Off case.
We'll do a postseason recap, but that's
it does sort of feel. I know there's a recap, and then of course we're going to be back almost immediately for our prediction game. It'll feel like no time has passed at all. But this show was the power ranking show, into the playoff show, and now it's the Super Bowl preview show. But really, it's always been the same show. The same meat has made up the protein portion of the dinner. And I just want to say, thanks everyone for listening all year. I feel this has been one of our better products here on Missing the Point that we've put out, and not just saying that because I'm involved in it, mostly saying that because I'm involved in it, but I'm not just saying that because I'm involved in it. I feel like we've worked hard to bring you guys wild takes and fun opinions, and thanks to Bob for making the power rankings every week. We couldn't have done it really without those and the controversy caused therein. I have really enjoyed being locked into this NFL season. As much as the NFL is obviously made up of a bunch of evil fucks, and the ownership and commissioner and everybody that's essentially makes this wonderful game come to us. God damn if those evil bastards don't make a hell of a product.
Really, all the evil people do, right? All the big things that we all love so much are definitely made by evil fuckers. I mean, listen, I love me some fucking nicotine. The guy who created nicotine definitely is not a good person.
I know. If only I just was addicted to giving to charity.
That'd be right. Or addicted to running, or addicted to working out.
Instead, I'm addicted to gambling and cigarettes and
cigarettes and football.
It's I think we're like the pumpkin spice basic bitches of white men. I'm so glad I don't need to have a Tinder profile anymore.
You saw what I was wearing last night, so I already know that's true.
Oh man, if good segue, because I do want to shout out our other show this week on MTP. Bobby, myself, and our good friend Rayshon Buchanan did a fun little kind of deadline day basketball. LeBron breaks the scoring record.
Good timing on that, by the way.
Yeah, basketball show. Obviously, he went on to break the record. He hadn't done it yet when we recorded the show, but we talked about him a good amount. I talked shit about him. The guys were like, how can you still be holding this torch to hating LeBron James? And it was a good time. So if you're done, once you're done listening to this and you're interested in some basketball stuff, feel free to go listen to that. I think that's all the housekeeping we have to do. I've thanked the listeners. I've thanked you. I thanked myself, which I try to do on a regular basis.
You got to say sorry to the people for missing last week. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not necessarily that we missed last week. That was our Pro Bowl week. I mean, what exactly were we?
That's a really good cover. That's a really good cover. I like that.
I didn't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't know if you did, but
I turned it on for 1 second and saw NFL players playing egg toss with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. The basketball All-Star Weekend is eminently watchable, and the football sort of skills competition and celebration of the best players is a little bit of a joke, and they can't really figure out how to make it cool. Putting it before the Super Bowl certainly doesn't help.
No.
I might be more inclined to watch it if it was after the Super Bowl. I just needed a little bit more football in my life.
To get the itch,
scratch that itch for 1 second. But it's I got the Super Bowl in a week. I'm good. I'm chilling.
It's like
what do you think about not
resin? You know?
What? Yeah, I know it is. It's a resin rip. It's a full blown resin ripper. Just keep this is a neat. Is that niche?
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you have a podcast. So Explain to me the logic of why we take 2 weeks off before the Super Bowl. Is it a marketing thing? Are they building
Yeah, it's a marketing
anticipation?
thing.
Is it
They
like
want
is it a
everyone to get
logistical
healthy.
thing?
I think they want everyone to get healthy too. Logistics definitely where you have to get
It
everyone
probably
down
helps.
there.
Like if you're putting on an event like that, you need the extra week, right?
I mean, if you think about it, man, having to prep that big of an event in 5 days is nearly impossible, right? All those people coming into town, all those decorations you have to set up, all the different facilities. Like, because the Super Bowl isn't just a game. Remember that. It's like a carnival.
It is, though, is the thing. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I watch football all year. It's like very similar to I mean, I do know that about you, actually, because we do a football show together. But so I don't not know that about you.
I hope I watch football.
But no, I mean, you'll understand this. It's like, I also love drinking, right? You know when I don't love drinking? I don't love drinking on St. Patrick's Day or New Year's Eve. I love drinking on a fucking Tuesday with the rest of the professionals, you know? I feel like the Super Bowl, it's fucking amateur night at the Apollo. You're always sat next to some motherfucker who's like talking during the game and quiet during the commercials. And listen, I make commercials for a living, and Super Bowl spots are often my bread and butter. And I'm glad that people enjoy them. But fucking watch the game. That's what I'm here to watch. It's still 15 minutes a quarter with two teams going out there to try to win a game. It's actually not any different. It's just the championship game. The rules aren't different, but a lot of people who haven't watched football all year get together to, like, I guess, eat bean dip and watch the halftime show because Rihanna hasn't fucking done anything in like 10 years or whatever. I'm just there for the game. The halftime will be my bathroom break. Although I guess I didn't feel that way last year when like Eminem and Dr. Dre did their thing. But
that was a dope halftime.
That was sick. But that's generational, right? But otherwise, I would venture to guess that like the majority of people, not the majority, but you know, the viewership goes up drastically for the Super Bowl. So where were they all? Where were they all year? You know,
I mean, let's put it this way: Katie watches the Super Bowl every year, and I get shit for watching football every single Sunday.
Oh my God, you heard it here, folks. It's on record.
I'm just making a point. Listen, we all. I understand why. Listen, there's a reason that 7 hours of commercial-free football makes girlfriend's ears bleed around the world. It's 7 hours of commercial-free fucking football. That's a lot.
Maybe, man. The only arguments that happen in my house is Leah wants the Steelers on the big TV, and you know, I want Red Zone.
Non-football fans, 7 hours of commercial-free football.
Yeah. Some of us are lucky, but I'm sure you are too in other ways. I think that your situation is more typical for sure, but I think that
she doesn't listen.
No, listen. I mean, I think I welcome everybody to watch this wonderful game of ours. We will, of course, get to previewing the Super Bowl, and that's definitely what we're here to do. But we haven't yet talked about the conference championship games, and I think that the teams that took L's in those respective AFC and NFC conference championship games deserve a little bit of airtime here.
Especially the one.
Yeah, as much as it's been a little time, I do think a little bit of a commiseration lap for those two is important. So if you're cool with it, and you have the time and the inclination, you're sitting down with me to talk about football anyway, I would love to just do a little recap first of that Eagles 49ers game. So, God damn, 49ers. I mean, we were high on them all year, Bob, and for good reason. I think we were high on them when they had a borderline losing record because we could see how good their defense was. We were high on them when Jimmy G dropped out because we could see that the system was a little bit more important, although I don't know who could have really expected Brock Purdy to be as good as he was. We were high on Shanahan. We were super high on the Christian McCaffrey trade. I was really enjoying their run, but like, you can't go to your fourth straight quarterback and expect to win a game against the best team in the NFC.
Not only fourth string quarterback, but then even he got knocked out.
I know, man.
It was like, and then
Kittle's on the sidelines like, lefty? Can you throw lefty?
It just got to a point where it's like, you know, there's literally nothing you can do when you're down 31-7 and you're running jet sweeps all day long because you literally can't throw the ball. I would have liked to see them, you know, pull a couple bags out of there, you know, just something, bro. Do a couple halfback passes or something. Well, just because what else do you have to lose at that point?
That first quarter was like the unluckiest quarter of football I've seen a team have. Like, the refs weren't helping them. The injuries were bad. Like, to me, when you saw what essentially was the most equivalent to two healthy teams going against each other, they looked pretty evenly matched, to be honest. Like the first few
that CMC run was one of the best touchdown runs I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, and it's going to be forgotten in the annals of history, unfortunately, because they didn't win the game, and that's just the way it is. But I think that it looked like it was going to be a slugfest. That's how the game was shaping up. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no. And it's like, it is the unfortunate reality of this sport is that there's just a lot of injuries by the time you roll around to this week. And God, they're unlucky at the quarterback position. They got to get Jimmy Garoppolo out of there because I just think he brings bad juju to that position, to be honest with you. And I think Shanahan's already said, just in general, like he just gets it on people around him. And Shanahan, I think, has already said there's a 0% chance he's coming back. I'm not here to speculate on where he's going to be. I don't really care. I don't think he was the reason that they were good. I think he throws a great underneath ball. I think his deep ball is one of the worst in the NFL. I think that we'll leave that to Joe to do a show speculating on Jimmy G's future in the offseason. But for now, we're going to talk about people that are actually relevant. I think Brock Purdy comes back, right? And he's their QB next year. Like what happens to the wonderkin they drafted first, or what was it, second or third overall a couple of years ago?
So I think what the big question is how long he's out for, because he pretty much has to get Tommy John.
He's also just not as good. He's also just not as good.
Yeah, he's not as good as everyone said he was. Definitely
not. No, are you talking about Brock Purdy? I'm talking about Trey Lance.
Oh, you're talking about Trey Lance. Oh, yeah okay. No, Trey Lance, you got to trade him.
You got to get rid of him, right?
Yeah, you have to.
You go with Brock.
You can't have, because it's different with Jimmy G, right? Jimmy G is
his contract is going to run out, I think.
Right, but I mean, even having the young quarterback with Jimmy G behind him is different. Where you can keep, that's why they brought him back. So you can keep him as a backup because he's a vet. He's done that before. He has experience. You can't have Trey Lance and Brock Purdy in the same quarterback room.
Yeah, you're just going to put yourself in that same exact position that you have been for the past few years, except it's worse because it's like two young guys.
And it's like, what happens, right? And Lance was a top 5 pick. So obviously Purdy would be the starter because of this run that he just went out.
Right.
What happens when Purdy throws
Lance
4
go?
picks?
Did Lance go like third? He went third, right?
Third, right. Yeah. They traded up with Miami.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you can't do that because as soon as Purdy throws 3-4 picks, everyone, where's Lance? Why don't you bring Trey Lance? You can't do that to a young quarterback, man. You just can't.
It's fucked up.
Done. Yeah.
I mean, you saw it. You see, there's examples of it every year where it's like, bring this guy in. I mean, you saw it happening with Trubisky and what the fuck's the kid's name? Steele in Pittsburgh. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Yeah, and Kenny Pickett, obviously, like, if you're a Steelers fan, you're watching Mitch Trubisky throw ducks, and you saw what Kenny Pickett did in college, which was quite a bit. I'm not sure he's prototypical for the NFL, but you're probably going to go like, let's see what he can do, right? But they were pretty aggressive calling for him to come in, and you're creating a situation in your fan base when you make that kind of a thing happen. I mean, we did it to Mitch Trubisky, for Christ's sake, in Chicago. So I think you're right. You got to get rid of Trey Lance, and you got to make another run with who you have, because that defense stays solid. Brock Purdy hopefully gets healthy in the offseason. I'm not sure what the extent of his injury is. And then you make another run with him with even more experience and hope for the best. Hopefully he doesn't fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, if Purdy's in that game, that's a completely different ball. You know what I mean? Like, that first quarter, I mean,
they couldn't run their
offense.
They could not run their offense.
Exactly. And I think Philly was going to end up running away with that, to be honest.
You think?
I
don't know if they're scoring 31 points if the San Francisco offense can stay on the field. Is the thing.
That's true, because I mean, Philly just dominated the line of scrimmage the entire game, and I think Hurts only threw 149 yards or something like that.
We'll have to come back to that when we talk about the preview, because I think that's going to be a big factor as far as their pass rush. But I guess maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm taking it personally, but I took it. I just didn't. It was a shitty game. We've had a lot of really good playoff games. I think the other game was really good, the conference championship round. I think that the divisional round was really good, as much as it probably hurt your feelings. I think the wild card round was really good. There was a duck in every round, but I think that it sucked that both of these games weren't good, because I think that the quality of the teams deserved a better game, if that makes sense. I think they should have pushed Philly a little bit harder. But what did you make of Philadelphia in that game? Do you think you got a good read on what they're going to bring to the table in this championship game, in this Super Bowl, or is it, I don't know, San Fran was beat up? Because that's kind of what I'm getting at. I still don't know if they've proven anything to me. I also put a ludicrous amount of money on the Chiefs, so I'm kind of talking myself into it.
You've had stock on the Chiefs all year, so
I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard to roll with them. I'll be honest.
So you got to, I know it's like not something you can celebrate ever, but you do have to give them credit for knocking both those quarterbacks out because it's not like they got injured. Random.
That's true.
Like they got knocked out.
They came, got
literally.
Yeah,
they went and knocked them out of the game. So that's one thing. I just listen. I love the Eagles. We all like their talent, everything. I hate the fucking Eagles, but I love their
that was
team.
A surprising
thing
to hear come out of your mouth.
I came out and my brain was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" But they haven't played anyone, bro. That's what's so scary about that team. We'll get to it in a little bit, but like literally the best quarterback they've played all year long is maybe Justin Fields. You know, like, and Justin Fields is great. He's good.
So they played the best quarterback in the NFL. Cool.
But he's not. they haven't beaten an actual true elite quarterback.
We won that game, just for the record.
And the Bears won that game, right? And the next best is maybe Dak Prescott. Cowboys won the game.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three best quarterbacks that you.
They didn't have to. They're not coming through hell to get here, and I agree with that for sure. That's a good segue though, because I think, sure, the Chiefs aren't going through hell, or definitely went through like a lot more than the Eagles to get here, and they had to play better competition. I think a lot of that by just the pure merit of being in the AFC in 2023 compared to being in the NFC, but the Chiefs maybe didn't really deserve to come out of that game. Like I know you do. I know we don't like to talk about the refs on this podcast.
We got to give them a minute. You got to, yeah, I agree.
It was bad, man. It was bad. Like there was some bad fucking calls in that game. Like there was a missed hold, a really bad one. There was a hold called that happens on every play, which is frustrating. That hit that decided the game on Mahomes, like out of bounds, I'm conflicted on, because if I'm on the Bengals, I'm looking at that guy being like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you can't.
What are you doing? Like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. What are you doing?
You have to throw it, though, because it is a what are you doing moment.
It was so soft, though, Bob. Like,
it was very soft. I agree. But, like,
it was because it was Patrick Mahomes, dude. Like, it just was.
What makes it more infuriating? So, so two separate calls that went against the Bengals. On one, a play on Joe Mixon inside like the 5-yard line, which was the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If they had called that, I would have been okay with it.
Just consistency is all we ask for.
This is a call that's been made for 18 straight weeks this season. Yeah, every single week.
That's fine, but it wasn't consistent in the game.
Right. And then the other one, listen, if you're going to call roughing the passer on Mahomes on that, or a personal foul, you got to call roughing the passer on that Joe Burrow on, I forget what the situation was, but he got hit off the head, bro. It is like, if you're going to call that for one quarterback, you have to give both sides that same whistle.
I know.
You have to, man.
I just think it's like, I don't want, as a concept, I don't want referees to referee in context. I don't want the referees to say, dude, we can't give him this 15-yard penalty. It decides the game. It puts him in chip shot range.
No, if it's a penalty, call the penalty.
Don't think like that. That's not what I'm asking for. A penalty is a penalty, but you got to be consistent on both sides, man, because the problem is a lot of times you are going to decide a game by having to make a call. That's just a fact. Like, that's just the way that sports work in general, and that's okay. It's disappointing when it happens. It takes the sort of the onus a lot of the time out of the players' hands, which none of us want. I don't even want field goal kickers deciding games. I don't think the fucking least athletic guy in the field should be deciding fucking football games. It doesn't make any sense to me. But like the refs, God no. But I think if I'm a Bengal, or if I'm the Bengals coaching staff, or if I'm Joe Burrow, or if I'm the defensive captain.
So if you were actually a tiger, if
I lived in a mountain and I ate gazelles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think I wouldn't care about sports. but that's neither here nor there. If I was a Bengal as the team playing in Cincinnati, I would want to take responsibility for the loss because it was a dumb mistake. And I would want everybody on the team to not want to look outside of ourselves to find blame, in the officiating or whatever, because just beat them, don't take it out of the ref's hands. Like it's like in a fight, if you're watching a boxing match or an MMA event and it goes to the judges, you're immediately asking for subjectivity. It's an opinion, It's not. The problem is there are always going to be rules that are subjective. The issue I have with this situation is, and like, yeah, it's like, to finish my earlier point, I think just take it out of the refs' hands, just beat their asses, just be the better team definitively. That's easier said than done, though. And I think that, yes, it's subjective. Yes, it's an opinion. And I know that they don't have an easy job, the refs, but fuck, man, like, why even let the on the field guys make the calls at this point if we have replay? Like, it's so arbitrary what they decide they can review or not, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it really
you can't review that hit, but you can review like a catch.
I never understood why.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, because they don't want to like delay the game or whatever. But
yeah, but it's already fucking delayed. Who gives a shit?
But I saw them do expedited calls this playoffs. Remember
last week? Last week
they were like expedited call. We made it happen. I'm like,
and then,
cool.
and then they're like, oh no, that's not available this week.
What is that? Like, what is that? You can't just start doing that in the playoffs. That's fucking wild. Yeah, just like to me, I mean, a line judge, sure. And like a couple of eyes, but like take the fucking responsibility off those poor fuckers down there that have to get like shit thrown at them if they fuck up. Like, just make the eye in the sky call every time. Just make it like a Vegas craps room where there's a guy watching every monitor and goes like, yep, and then the call's just made and we move on. And challengeable calls, like, for instance, say you're reviewing something, right? You're reviewing did Mahomes' arm go forward when he's throwing the ball or something like that?
That was
right?
the weirdest fucking fumble ever.
But it was. But guess what? There was a fucking late hit in that replay. He gets hit in the head in that replay. They're not looking at that though. That evidence emerges because you're looking at something else.
No, we clearly see he got a concussion on that play. But we didn't.
But that's not what we're reviewing. Is the logic, right? That's not what we're reviewing. So it just like, come on, guys. Like this is a joke. Like you look like idiots doing this. It's not helping you either. And if you can make these expedited calls, and I watched you do it, now I know you can do it. Now I know you can do it in 6 seconds, and I don't have to watch 27 angles of a football maybe or maybe not hitting the ground. Why aren't we always doing that? Because you can put more commercials in. I bet that's fucking why, which I'm actually okay with. But
yeah, like it's how you get paid.
It is. You're not wrong. Actually, I take it all back. Edit this part out. Keep the commercials in. Lots more reviews. Got to pay the mortgage somehow. Anyway, look, it was frustrating from that angle. I thought it was two great teams. It's two great teams that
we can't go past without mentioning it. They did give the Chiefs an extra down as well. They Cordell.
Did they?
Fifth down, bro. Fifth down.
I didn't notice that. What happened?
So what happened was I forget. I think it was in the fourth quarter actually.
I feel like I was glued to this game. Where I missed it.
It was third down, and they snapped the ball, and the refs came in and waved it off. Technically,
oh yeah. I know,
but like it was so late, and the play like already happened, and the Chiefs got stuffed, and all of a sudden they're like, "No, we blew it dead." It was like,
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That'll make you think that the fix is in. That'll make you think there's a fucking script. If anything, will make you think it. The refs were like helping.
Did you see so funny enough, the Arian Foster comments came out this week about NFL being scripted. The tweets that came out, he definitely was joking. But the tweets that came out after that were some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. The one where Aaron Hernandez looking at his 2011 script was like,
he's like, wait, this is the script?
Dak Prescott looking at his 2019 script, and he's like,
oh man, that's bad.
It was brutal. There's some brutal ones, but my favorite one out of all of them
was Dak Prescott related.
No, it was Matt Ryan looking at his Super Bowl, looking at the 28. It's like
Brady's next to him.
Well, no, there's not the smiling one. The one where it was him just breaking down in the back room, like why?
It's fucked up, dude. There is if it is scripted, they're mean. The script writers are fucking assholes.
So my rebuttal against the NFL being scripted, and I think it's like the ultimate shutdown rebuttal. They would be the dumbest organization in the world if it was scripted and the Cowboys haven't been to a Super Bowl in 29 years. Because I guarantee, because when the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl, it's going to be the most watched fucking sporting event, or maybe TV event ever, bro. They break records on a Thursday night football game because everyone fucking hates them and they love to see them lose.
You hate
telling me, yeah, I do. But you're telling me that wouldn't be the most watched Super Bowl ever if they were in it.
Yeah.
There's no way it's scripted if they haven't been in it. No way.
Oh, you're right. But maybe they're building it up. Like they're playing the long game.
Just a 50-year long game.
Yeah, a 50-year long game. Jerry Jones got the idea when he was preventing young black children from going into elementary school. He was like, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and I'm going to script the NFL. It all comes down to him. I fucking hate that guy. Okay, so we were talking. Why are we talking about the fucking Cowboys again, Bobby? You always do this.
I'm sorry. I pulled a Joe. I'm sorry.
The thing about Bill Belichick. So, point being,
we love you, Joe.
I do. It's all in good fun. I do think that the Chiefs are not like undeserving of going to the Super Bowl, though. Like, I think we have the number one team in the AFC versus the number one team in the NFC statistically, right? And the number one quarterback in the AFC versus the number one quarterback in the NFC, and like all the rushing stats and all the receiving stats and all, like a lot of defensive stats. These are the two best teams. Yeah. And I think that it's a little boring when that happens sometimes. And like Joe Burrow specifically has been the guy to like be like, nah, that's not happening this year a few times now. And I do think they still match up really well against the Chiefs, but Pat Mahomes with a busted ankle, but on a mission, I don't know.
I think they talk too much shit, to be honest. I think they talk like
the Bengals, you mean?
Yeah, the Bengals.
Little too much bulletin board material.
Yeah, there was a line, man. There's a difference between being swaggy and with it and like on point and being ballers versus like calling Arrowhead Burrowhead, bro. And the mayor thing with
I thought that was kind of
officially
funny,
it was funny, hilarious, but like, come on, guys.
You're firing him up. You are firing him up doing that. It's not a great look, but they're the last people you want to fire up. The Patrick Mahomes and the Travis Kelce's of the world are the last people you want like really raring to go. And I give credit to the Bengals. Like they did go into what is apparently the loudest stadium, the most hostile environment. They talked a bunch of shit about the fucking atmosphere. They talked a bunch of shit about how they own that place. And they lost, but like they didn't lose by much. You know what I mean? Like they still kind of are right that they do match up so well against the Chiefs, and they kind of have their number a little bit.
That's why, like, I can't blame the refs too much because the Bengals had plenty of chances to win this game. They had a possession in the last 2 minutes. They had all the chances they could have asked for to win that game. They just didn't get it done.
Well, that's a good time to transition. I think it's time to preview the fucking Super Bowl, bro.
Oh, yeah, the best betting day of the year.
The Andy Reid Bowl, my friend. My personal opinion, and I think this will come as a surprise to absolutely nobody that's ever heard me speak on the subject before, is that Andy Reid's going to put a hurting on the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's going to. I think there's going to be a lot of early release throws by Mahomes that are deadly accurate to the under to the Travis Kelce's of the world. I think it's going to be a lot of 4, 9, 5 yards, 6 yards, 9 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 9 yards. Like it's going to be a lot of methodical picking them apart. I'm not super scared of that pass rush other than the obvious fact that Pat Mahomes' ankle's fucked up. So to me, it comes down to if Pat Mahomes plays all 4 quarters, if he plays every snap under center for the Chiefs come away with this game. If not, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. It doesn't look like a Kansas City Chiefs victory to me. Am I way off base here? Am I still not giving the Eagles enough credit?
I think you're on point. I think when it comes down to a Super Bowl, you remember this is the number one thing I call from that Bucs Super Bowl is like the pass rush is the most important thing when it comes down to a game like this because emotions are high, all this stuff. It's just when you have a tired offensive line 19 weeks into the season and you have an elite pass rush like the Eagles have, it could take over the game so fast.
But
but if he can't scramble, it's not like it's big, burly guys coming to get him. Hassan Reddick can move, bro. And unless Mahomes is feeling, nifty with his feet, he's not getting away from Reddick. So I could see a situation where the Eagles have, 6, 7 sacks like the Bucs did in that last Super Bowl, and that just throws everything off, especially with the Chiefs. They're a very timing oriented team, especially now too. Like, if Mahomes has to, roll out and get knocked off, and then Kelsey isn't there on that turnaround 12-yard route that they fucking love, they do every week, that somehow no one can stop. Somehow no one can stop.
I used to say that exact same thing about the fucking the pass to the flats that the Pats used to do in the red zone, where it's like, why
the James White play?
Like, why don't you just put a guy right there? Like, no one ever puts a guy right there, and it's like he's just throwing it to him every single fucking time, and all you need is a linebacker on the line to just get in the way, but no one seems to be able to stop it. It doesn't make any sense. Travis Kelce's also I can at least put some read into how Travis Kelce is able to do that, because his footwork is unbelievable. Like,
it really
the
is.
way he's able to move his body for a guy his size, the way he's able to be facing one direction and then decide to be facing another direction, but it took 6 yards for him to turn in that one direction. He seems to know where the guys behind him are when he catches a ball. He seems to be able to make space for himself where there really shouldn't be any. He's too big for a safety to do anything to him once he's caught the ball or once he tries to move, and he's too fast and agile for any sort of larger line plus player to try to make a play on him early. So I think that's why he's just able to tear everybody up. And I think that if you start to get the ball to him early and you start to make those plays early, and the other receivers come to play for Mahomes, and you're making these nice little short yardage plays and getting into that rhythm that we know the Chiefs can get into, then I think the Eagles are in for a long night, man. Because if that D line starts to get demotivated, if they go a whole quarter without touching them, if the reality starts to set in, I will also say there's an experience in championship games factor for the Kansas City Chiefs. Even if they get hit and bumped early and the physicality of the Eagles starts to take effect like it has against a lot of other teams, and credit to them for that physicality. Everybody on that team is strong and fucking fast and elite, and they can move side to side, and they've built a hell of a model over there. They really have a lot of really great athletes on that team from the quarterback up. But even if the Chiefs get on their back a little bit, even if they get pushed back against the wall, to me, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm happy to hear you argue with this, they're the team that is much more likely to be able to recover from a losing position than the Eagles are, because they've been there before. They have the guy.
The fact that they've been there before, yes, but
Andy Reid also. I mean, that guy's just got a million years of experience in high-profile games. Say what you will about it.
Also, the Eagles haven't really faced much adversity this year. They had a couple games where they had to come back, but not too much.
Also, the Chiefs always seem to have one or two things up their sleeve you haven't seen yet.
So, yeah, I agree with that, but they're pretty fucking electric, man. That Eagles team, they're so fast.
Are you high? Are you betting on the Eagles? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm
current of your voice.
I'm 50-50. Yeah.
How could you?
So
at this point, how can you put your money on the Eagles? It's just regardless of who you think is going to win, you got to ride with whoever isn't the Eagles, Bobby. What the fuck? I'm not betting on the Green Bay Packers no matter how much I think they win if they're in a fucking Super Bowl. It's just not happening, dude. It's just not. I'm not putting my money on that team.
I think it's just the fact that I was with them as that number one team all year, man. And I really wanted them, to be honest, if they wore the black jerseys. Well, you weren't, though. I literally spent an entire season proving that you didn't think they were the best team in the NFL every single week in, week out. We would play a little game, right? And then I'm always in denial about the Chiefs. This is how it's been.
But you would tell me, I would paint you a scenario most of the time where the fucking Eagles could even go to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. We talked about this matchup 3 months ago, and you were like, "No, Chiefs, fucking if that happens, Chiefs." And all of a sudden, when the day comes, you're not grabbing your balls, man. You're not doing it. I don't understand. All right. It's a good
I haven't put the money on it yet, to be honest. I'm still wavering.
I'm glad you said that, because we have some props to talk about.
Yes,
we have some lines to talk about. And this is where we're gonna see out the fun and amazing power ranking show with our crippling gambling addictions. So do you want to start? Do you have any good parlays or any sort of good props that you want to hit me with?
Yeah, so my biggest thing right now is I have one where hold Let's see. Which one do I want to start with? Do you want to start? You want to go with parlays first?
Well, I have one fun parlay. Check this one out.
Go ahead. Yeah,
this is a kind of a wild one, but this is sort of how confident I am. Pat Mahomes to have, it's not even necessarily a parlay. It's kind of a parlay, but it's not a parlay. It's like a pre-made parlay. Pat Mahomes to have 245 plus yards or 345 plus passing yards, 2+ touchdowns, 31 pass completions, and Kansas City win plus 1,500.
Ooh, I like that.
Now, like, that to me is the kind of bet where you're going, like, if Kansas City win, this is what I think Pat Mahomes' stat line has to look like for that to come true, right? So, yeah, you're betting on the win, but you get these great odds because you're sort of saying if they win, it's because of Pat Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thrown 3+ touchdowns. He's thrown for over 345. That's the real odds maker right there because I don't know. Throwing for over 345 yards, we're talking about you're betting on Pat Mahomes having the best Super Bowl performance ever. Like, it would be fucking insane.
That's a lot of passing yards. That's a lot. Yeah.
It's going to be an insane performance in a Super Bowl. But I believe in him.
Yeah, and listen, to say that the Eagles are, as we just talked about, untested playing great quarterbacks so far this season would be an understatement. This is by tenfold the best quarterback they've played so far this year. And the best team they've played so far this year. So, yeah, no, I like that a lot. I have one. See, this is what I think I am going with the Eagles just by looking at my stuff here.
You're such a fucking traitor, dude.
I know, man. I know.
Oh, my God. I swear to God, you would sell us all.
But so one of the big things is I would. You're right. The Chiefs struggle against the run. It's been noted. I mean, ETN ran for 130 on them. You know, every week we see another running back. That's how teams stay in the games against the Chiefs. And that's what the Eagles do. Is they run the ball. So I have Miles Sanders over 61.5 rushing yards, Jalen over 49.5 rushing yards, Jalen over 238 passing yards because the running opens up that passing offense. Hurts and Sanders both score a touchdown. I didn't put Eagles money line on it.
That's not you betting the Eagles. That's you betting the Eagles to destroy the Chiefs. That's crazy.
No, that's not crazy. It's a
shootout, or it's a wild.
It could be a shootout. I'm thinking it's going to be a shootout, to be honest. But that's plus 20-1. So plus 2018. $10 to win 211. Not bad.
All right, I got a fun one for you. Ready?
Yeah.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling to have 5+ receptions, 100+ receiving yards, a receiving touchdown, and the Chiefs win the game. Plus 1,900. Vegas does not believe in that man.
He's such an X factor in this game, man.
He's going to be one thing or the other, right? He's either going to have 5+ receiving touchdowns, or we're not going to see him.
Nothing, right? Exactly. Yeah. That's why.
Well, not 5+ receiving touchdowns is a little extreme.
That'd be,
but you know what I mean.
Wild. He just had the best game.
You know
ever.
what I mean, though. You know what I mean. The extreme pendulum of what he could be.
He's such an X factor in this game. If MVS can get open, and they have to actually worry about someone else besides Kelsey and McKinnon and Pacheco, all those guys.
I was going to bring up the 1-2 punch of the Chiefs running game that there isn't a ton of tape on.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, listen, they're good, man. I think that's how, if the Chiefs blow out the Eagles, it's going to be because it's on the ground, right? Mahomes will get it started, and then they're just going to plow it down their throats. That's the only way I could see that happening.
On that note, maybe you'll like this bet, even as a hedge. McKinnon, 2+ touchdowns, and the Chiefs to win, plus 1,250.
I like that.
Because I'm saying if they win, we have an all-time stat line from Pat Mahomes. You're saying if they win, they do it on the ground. So if you believe that, if you truly believe that in your dark, bitter heart, that's a good bet for you, right?
Yeah.
At least as a hedge. At least as a hedge.
I'd see I don't know if it's a hedge though, because listen.
Well, you're going to bet 5 different props on the fucking Eagles, apparently. You goddamn traitor. So it is a little bit of a hedge. I'm talking into one Kansas City.
I'm just living. Listen, if Micah Parsons can live vicariously through an NFC East team, so can I. He said it was okay.
He's a mercenary.
Yeah.
He gets paid by another team. You're a fan. That's different.
This isn't a parlay, but so a couple props that I like. So I have game to be decided by exactly 3 points.
Oh, I hate that. That would stress me out.
Plus 440 right now.
Every time somebody kicked a field goal and went up 3 points, I would be like, stop scoring. We're doing it. Then you're cheering for them not to score. So it's like,
Also, game to be decided by exactly 7 points plus 790. I did an exact score bet based off of the meme that I saw going around this week that said someone leaked the NFL script, and it was Eagles 37, Chiefs 34. And it had like the whole breakdown. It was a whole thing. So I bet exact score 37, 34.
That's actually.
Bro, if it actually happens, I'll win a good amount of money, so I won't be that mad. But then it would definitely be scripted. It's 200 to 1. So $5 to win a grand if it's 37 to 34.
That's a lot.
I also have.
By the way, on the money line, I got the Chiefs at 145 plus 145, which
that's good.
You're not even coming close to that right now.
I've heard it's gonna get close to a pick'em.
It's a pick'em,
which is crazy. Is it a pick'em now?
So
okay,
they're both minus 110. Or it's like minus 110 Chiefs, minus 120 Eagles. So that's a pick'em to me.
This is the most even Super Bowl I can even remember, man.
Yeah, I mean they're all fucking even on paper, right? Until you get in there.
No. I mean that technically last year's wasn't. I mean I know it kind of, but like the Rams were the team all year long, and the Bengals were the underdog. Rams. And then I know,
look at the Rams now.
Lead change in the last minute of the game, plus 760. 55-yard field goal, 55-plus yard field goal, plus 440. Love all those bets. I can already see Bucker coming out for a 55-plus yard field goal. It's happening. He's going to nail it, too. I can't wait.
He's a good kicker, especially in high-pressure situations. He won the game for him last week. I don't like betting on field goals, though, because I don't think they should exist.
Yeah, I know. You hate field goals.
Why is the least athletic guy on the field deciding a game? Why do they have to exist? Just like if you want to score, you got to get to where you got to get to. If you want to score, you got to get past that line. That's the rough and tumble nature of this game. That's what we do here. But it's like you can just have some guy that like fucking played soccer in college come out and win a game for you. That doesn't make any sense. Like I'm a soccer fan, and it seems antithetical to me to the entire business model we're trying to build here. But like whatever, dude. Moving right on along. I don't have any left. That's all. Those are all my potential bets.
I have a couple fun ones. I don't know if we go into those. So I have. Let's see here. I got
like put a dollar, win $50 million if Patrick Mahomes sprouts a fucking alien from his chest in the middle of the game.
No, it was. I love doing these ones because it just keeps you tuned in to even the post game and all the different aspects of the game. So, who were the MVP mentioned in the speech? First person he mentioned. I have City and fans because it just I know plus 1,000 now plus 100, so 100 to 1. You look at the two teams, right? Mahomes and Hurts are the two favorites to win MVP, obviously. If Mahomes wins, I could definitely see him thank Kansas City. And if Philly wins, he's definitely thanking the city of Philadelphia first. There's no doubt in my mind on that one. The Gatorade, I got plus 200 for yellow, green, and lime. It's the one that's won the most all time. And then I also have... I did some research. That's right. And I also have plus 1,400 red because it's the Chiefs. I thought maybe, they would dump some red Gatorade on Andy Reid.
I could see it. See it.
Right?
I feel like green Gatorade for Andy Reid to be like you just beat your old green team that you were the head coach of for so long that you could never quite get it done with. I mean, what is Andy Reid's luck to you? I want to finish talking about this guy because you know my stance on him. I think he's one of the best ever, if not the best to ever do it. I think there's a lot of people that say like, oh, he's an also-ran. He gets to the show, but he doesn't get it done. He's got one Super Bowl despite being in a fucking bajillion championship games, in conference championship games, being in Super Bowls, being in big high-profile games and losing. Does that to me, I see it as that's a guy who can build a team and get him to the show. And anybody can win one game, and he's unlucky from time to time. What does that say to you? And can you honestly picture Andy Reid losing to the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl? I couldn't think of a more grotesque and hurtful sight than the team that he was beat with that stick for so long, and it turned out he was the best part of the organization for that entire time. And then for him to have to fucking lose to them in the Super Bowl, like what a cut that would be for me as a human being. I just don't, because he's been dealt some unfair hands, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that would be the biggest blow possible to his legacy. You know what I mean? Like right now, the way people look at Andy Reid could change the most out of everyone in this game based off of this game, right?
Yeah.
You know, if Mahomes loses, he's still Mahomes. If Hurts loses, you know.
Well, you brought up a couple weeks ago, like, are they underachievers at this point? If
that's what I mean. If they lose this Super Bowl, man, that's still one Super Bowl.
For what we all consider one of the best teams of all time, yeah.
Right.
But what about your Brady ruined everything theory?
But still, I mean, that's the narrative. That's what people are going to talk about.
It's the standard, though.
Right. That's the way it is now. Right. Exactly. So if you don't get multiple Super Bowls, you can't be considered one of the best of all time anymore.
100%
you
true.
Can't. So
100% true.
Yeah, if you want to go down as one of the best coaches, one of the best quarterbacks, one of the best teams of this decade, essentially the team of this decade, you got to win this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think they're going to do it, because I think they are that. I think it's quite clear that they are that. And I think that it's intangible and it's difficult to 100% put my finger on. But because they are that is why they're going to win.
You know what? It's just jealousy, man. I don't want either team to win, if I'm being fucking honest. I'm sick of the Chiefs winning. They don't deserve any more fucking Super Bowls. I want to go to a Super Bowl, so fuck the Chiefs. And B, the Eagles don't deserve another goddamn Super Bowl either. What the fuck is going on in the world that the Eagles are going to possibly win a second fucking Super Bowl?
I know, it's tough. It's
Jesus
hurtful.
Christ.
Philadelphia doesn't have much going on, man. Give them something.
Yeah. All right, fair.
I'll say this. My belief in the Chiefs is rooted in, yes, I believe in them genuinely, but also equally, and you'll understand this sentiment, the fact that I claimed loudly to believe in them in our Discord chat and on the podcast at the very start of the season, and I have defended them this entire time, and now here they are, you know. And I did say, I mean, I'm not one to brag, but I did say on our last show that despite the fact that Joe Burrow has had Patrick Mahomes' number and the Chiefs' number for every other time they ever played, essentially in this era, that the Chiefs are still going to get it done. And it's for this reason. It's literally for this reason. It's the reason you're saying if they don't do it, then they are underachievers. And we've been considering them one of the best teams of this generation, and Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback of this generation. And because I think we're right about that is why I think they're going to get this done. You say what you will about his ankle. Say what you will about the pass rush.
It scares me. The pass rush.
Pass rush is a lot, dude. The pass rush is a lot. But again, something that's so beautiful about the game of football and something that we've seen happen over and over and over again is in a game with more players on the field than most other sports, in a game with more players coming in and rotating and bigger rosters, and one guy can come out there and just fucking win that game still. And if you ask me who is more likely to do that, Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts,
it's definitely bad. I mean, come on. Yeah,
I only got one answer for you, bud, and that's the way it is.
It's true, man. It's true. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that you're convincing me here, but I probably will end up doing a sprinkle on the Chiefs too. I like to keep my money in both. Yeah, I like to be in both.
Like
buckets,
a little drizzle of cinnamon on your morning lunch.
Yeah, no, it should. I think it's going to be a great game. Though I'm pumped. I don't know about you.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it.
I really do feel a shootout coming though. I really think it's going to be a lot of points in this game.
I'm here for a fucking shootout. All right, I'm into it. I like it. On that note, thank you so much to all the contributors of this season's 2022 to 2023's Power Ranking show. I'd love to thank.
Bro, this is so sad.
I know. But we got to do it. We'll be.
Why
back.
does this? Why do we have to do this every year? You know what I mean? Like when you're in, I always think about this when I'm in like week 3 or 4, where you're like, oh man, there's still so much football left. Hasn't even gotten started yet. But like, you know how fast it fucking goes, and then all of a sudden we're sitting here Super Bowl weekend, and you're like, oh.
Of all the things that happen during a football season and all the things available to put on as accessories to your football watching, fantasy football, betting, of all the things that are partnered with and go hand in hand with my football watching experience, either as a fan of the Bears or a fan of the sport in general, doing this show is easily my favorite accoutrement to the football season. So I'm really glad to be here. So thank you for doing all those power rankings and really thinking about it. Thanks to Joe Malkin, Michael Marcangelo, Rayshawn Buchanan, for all coming and being guests on the show. I think we've talked about it, and I think that, the show's in a good place. We can start expanding the roster of visitors, I think, next season. People to come in. What I would love to do is like, the Cowboys are playing the Bengals. A Bengals fan. Let's bring him in and talk about it. Like those sort of things for relevance. So we have ideas coming up, guys, for the next for next season. But I really think we put out a decent product this year. So
I hope
thanks
y'all
for sticking with us. Yeah, and also a special thanks to our wonderful producer Craig D'Alessandro for editing thousands of hours of content into what eventually became this package. So without Bobby starting it with the power rankings and Craig finishing it with the editing, I wouldn't be able to be the delicious meat in the middle of that sandwich. So I'm just fucking
be a delicious sandwich.
But yeah, seriously, thanks, and especially thanks to everyone who listened all year and gave us cool feedback. I love the messages. I love the comments. I loved all the little dopamine hits I got when you guys hit like on the posts. So thank you guys all so much, and have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Please drink irresponsibly, but drive responsibly. Thank you so much for listening to the 22-23 Missing the Point Power Rankings Extravaganza.
Hey, it's Tim from 50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys, the comedy podcast you had no idea you needed. Join Ben, Jeff, and me as we continue our musical road trip back through the years and around the globe. See, just when you thought all white guys were like Joe Rogan, you come across 3 educators trying to remember when we were cool.
50 Years of Music with 50-Year-Old White Guys.
Electricast.
Welcome to Ringside with Ray and Prince. My name is Ray Leonard Jr.
Oh, is that the set? No, that's just my dad.
My name is Prince Daniels Jr.
Daniels again with a big home touchdown.
On this show, we come to humanize
athletes, entertainers, business executives. We're going to see what makes them tick.
Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there. Peace and power.
Electricast. Electricast.